You mentioned the brain learns to use people as tools through too much born. Any advice for people who don't want to get used as tools? Um, See if the other person is capable of sitting with you and having a legitimate conversation wherein they ask you questions from a curiosity standpoint and they ask you follow-up questions about your answers, and they're capable of engaging in a deeper conversation, so they're not just trying to Mass Effect style, like, conversation tree get you to sex, right? They're not playing you like a video game. Are they actually getting to know you as a person? It's one of the best things you can talk about right there. Do that.
Took a little drive around the Black Dirt Basin and listened to Adam Lane Smith live. I forget he's on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 8 o'clock doing these lives. And so I asked him about what he'd said about people's brains learning to use people as tools because of too much porn. And I was like, how do you, what advice for people who don't want to get used as a tool? And he said, really try to sit down and have a conversation with them. See if they ask you questions from a place of curiosity. Can they have follow-up questions based on your answers? Can they, show that they're getting to know you as a person? It's easy to get caught up in how things feel and what we want, and it's easy to forget that there may be pitfalls that we are unconsciously but willfully turning a blind eye to. And so it's important that we have a filter, I guess, ultimately. Questions, standards, things you can put on almost a checklist and say, look, when my emotions are running high because, say, I'm angry even, or I'm really tired, I'm sad, and I'm running hard against a jagged edge, or I'm really hoping for an opportunity to come through, like I'm waiting to get a job or find out if I want a trip somewhere, whatever. You're in this heightened state and the emotions are running high. It's always good to have a checklist of some sort or some sort of standards to check in with that say, how am I navigating this? How am I handling this? Are my emotions proportionate? Are my responses helpful and guiding me in a direction that I would want to go? And yeah, especially around relationships in general, and then even more so for romantic interests. It's super easy to get caught up in the feeling, and I realize none of us are really given guidebooks, I guess, some sort of this is how you go about it. We're all just out here winging it, and that's not always reliable for yielding the best results. And so I've been thinking about how much I've learned the last few years, really studying at the feet of the masters, and I really don't even know exactly what would be on that list yet. So I'm thinking through it right now and realizing that our ability to just sit and engage with each other is definitely a really big part of it. If you have two people who cannot sit and engage with each other and get to know each other, then you really have no basis for anything else, no matter how good the chemistry is, no matter how good the drugs are that your body's creating in response to this desire or attraction or whatever else is tipping off the neurochemistry to do the cha-cha in the bloodstream. So yeah, this is a piece I definitely want to circle back for and do some work on, because I think there must be some very fundamental things like that, and that would definitely need to be at the top of the list. But it strikes me just how much we don't have guidance, and it's a little wonder we end up in bad places. And then the tragedy of that is we get hurt and we get twisted around the hurt, and then we go out and we do things that are even more detrimental to our success, or at least our potential success. And I really feel for people who have no good resources at their disposal, who aren't aware of how much information is out here. Now, having said how much information is out here, I'm a little overwhelmed by it. I watch no TV. I don't watch movies. I don't play video game. Well, I play a few little stupid games on my phone sometimes, but like so little time goes to that. I don't go out for a lot of events. I don't go out to bars or clubs. I don't do a lot of other things. I put a ton of time and attention to listening to podcasts and lives and lectures, and I need to start adding some audiobooks. That would also be real helpful. But yeah, even giving that much attention to it and taking time to sit down and write notes and reflect, it is a bit overwhelming. So what I think we really need is something that we can distill from that would actually help us to feel more informed and competent in going about meeting people and vetting them and establishing connection and progressing that and building something sound on it. We really do seem to think you have chemistry and you can share a laugh, you're good, let's go. Somebody just told a friend of mine, like, look, if he's clean and he's got a job and he dresses okay, grab him. Like, that. He could be a psychopath, but if he's clean and he's dressed well and he's got a job, no problem, right? Yeah, this is not the advice to go on. And yet we don't really have the wisdom of our elders in our tribe to inform us of what really matters. And there's so many, here's another thing, I said how much information's out there. There's so many competing ideas about how it should work. And I think there's a loss of cohesion. One thing that really interests me is figuring out if there's a way to just draft a reasonable charter, I guess. Just say that, look, this is for those of us who are looking for something healthier, something more sound, more sustainable. These are the things that we believe are essential for that. And then somehow find a way that we can very easily communicate with people that we subscribe to that. So you see it happen organically where people will develop a following, and then the followers will find each other and be like, I love that guy. Did you see him do the speech? Did you see the podcast when blah, blah, blah? And all of a sudden these people know they have some common interests and values because they can connect around this person's work. If you follow this work, you probably have certain ideas and certain values in your life that are reflected by that. And so I don't know if there's a way to build a more formal community that we can kind of agree, look, these are the things we think really matter. And if we're around this community and we find other people who are familiar with or involved with the community and relate to what virtues the community espouses, then maybe it's easier to make those connections, because you got to pour through so many things based on so many different types of standards and filters. It's tiresome, and I can imagine people getting burned out dating. Not that I've got much experience with dating myself, but I can only imagine going out and trying to get to know a person and their interests, their background, their ambitions, their limits, the things that are going to be factors if you're going to have an ongoing friendship or relationship with them. And yeah, there's got to be a better way. There's just got to be a better way. You like how I just get to a point and I'm like, and yeah. Because I'm just spitballing here. That's what a lot of this is. It's me just spitballing and fumbling through ideas. I'm like leaping from rock to rock, trying not to fall in the water. That's a lot of this. But yeah, I think that there's something for being able to gather around shared values, that you don't have to be part of a religion or some sort of, I guess it's usually religion provided for this, that if you're of the same faith, then you have the same values and the same things are encouraged or forbidden, and you could orient around that. Now that so many people are non-religious, myself included, we've lost that. That's how we threw out the baby with the bathwater, because I have reasons for leaving the church, and I've continued to have a very rich spiritual life, for want of a better term. But I did lose the community aspect. I don't have the people in my congregation to go to picnics with, right? So you lose the community, and then you don't have that easy way of identifying that you do have common values. That's another loss in that count, and I don't think we're going to be able to establish one unifying religion everybody's going to get around, but maybe we can provide for standards that people can get around, and just be able to cut through a little more quickly to people who are automatically going to be on a level, because there's something about that. I've been able to build some really nice friendships around knowing that other people have come through some of the same experiences and done some of the same work and used some of the same resources as I do, and those were like fast friendships. We got to know each other and establish rapport and build connection and move out to deeper trust relatively faster than I've been able to do with anyone else. I mean, it still took time in a sense, because you've only got so much time to spend with people, and then you need so many opportunities to see people under different conditions, and if you don't have as much time, those opportunities are going to be fewer and farther between. And so, yeah, it will take time in that sense, but I don't know, it felt like it came somewhat quickly and somewhat easily compared to the efforts I make with people who are outside of that, with whom I don't have that commonality. And it really highlights for me how much having that common ground and worldview and ethic really actually make a big difference in terms of being able to settle in with people and create richer relationships sooner. So yeah, I'm gonna be thinking on this one for a little bit, but I just wanted to brainstorm that for a minute. So that's what I got for that so far. Yeah, I'm sure I got plenty else to babble on about, but for now, I figured I'd just report on that. Alright, that's 14 minutes of whatever. Alright, we'll leave it at that and get on in and then see what the rest of the night has in store. Okay, I'm gonna get my butt inside and see what's next, and it may involve me jumping back on. It might involve me doing something else. We shall see. Bye.